What do you think of that? What don't you think of that? I think that girl's got everything.
Oh, should we just sit looking at the camera? This podcast getting warm. It is nice under here, isn't it? we got to heat the blanket up.
So goofy.
But, well, it could be worse. We could be snotting on the floor.
God.
I know. I don't know why I said it. Is it just fucking my gag reflex, man?
Oh.
But now you see why I like CLA.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. Like,
she's hilarious.
she's entertaining.
And she doesn't even mean to be. She literally doesn't.
She kind of reminds me of my old neighbour.
She does.
Sally from the alley. Did you?
Sally from the alley. No.
So her house was like on the end of the row, but then she had the alley in between. But she was like, that's my alley. And then she had chickens in her garden and a fucking rooster who used to cock-a-doodle-doo in the morning.
Of course it did.
And then at the bottom of her garden, they had like a shed thing, but her son used to go down there and play fucking drums.
Sometimes she goes, mental health matters. No one cares. That's what I'm like, you're right, nobody cares about your problems.
Oh,
But
so
yeah,
funny.
people are fucking hilarious. I mean, I'd be scared if we were mates, because you never know.
I don't feel like she has too many mates.
She has got some friends, though, that have been her friends forever. She's got, like, a really rich old man that she's mates with. And she went round there not that long ago and he's giving her advice. And I'm like, this bitch ain't taking in anything you're
She's like,
saying at all.
Yep, no.
Yeah. I mean, she tries, she wants to, but that's why I like her, I suppose. Right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Middle Aged Opinion. I'm your host, Ellie.
And I am your host, Emily. And we are looking at weaponised incompetence.
Yeah, weaponised incompetence.
I wanted to say it correctly.
You did. So we were like, what are we doing? What is it called? And we had to search it a couple of times, didn't we? I feel like it's a new word.
Or incompetence?
No, weaponised incompetence is a new thing that a lot of people have started to talk about now.
Yeah, possibly.
When actually it's just like normal every day-to-day relationships.
I feel like we would be like, that's on purpose, you don't have to do it again.
Exactly.
I say he.
I mean, a lot of the stories are, not all of them, but most of them are reflected on husbands or partners.
It is a lot of wives having a good old rant.
Yeah. But I think that anybody, I think anybody can display incompetence if they don't really want to do something. In the workplace, mates, isn't it? Although I try to never display that and always try that when people say, I can't do it, I'm happy to do it.
I'll always try.
There you go. Whether it's good or not,
that's
we don't really care. We
if
try.
It's to your satisfaction.
Yeah. If it's not to your satisfaction, that's a you problem.
It
you
is,
asked me to do
because
it,
I'll
I
be honest
tried.
with you, I'm quite a perfectionist, so I don't tend to do things half-heartedly, really.
You definitely are. Right. Okay. I'm going to kick us off. And we're not rushing through.
We're not?
No.
No.
But my hands are still cold, so I'm going to put one there. I put in one there. Right. Is this weaponised incompetence from my partner, 33 male, or am I 34 female, standards too high? My partner and I have been together for almost 8 years now, and 6 months ago we welcomed our first child. Even before our daughter was born, I did handle the majority of the housework tasks. Division of labour was minimal, mainly because if he left something long enough, I would eventually end up doing it myself. But he was willing to do teamwork and generally would help me out. But since having our daughter, things have really fallen by the wayside. He always has some excuse as to why he can't do things or just forgets. And if I'm home, he does very little baby care either. We also have 2 senior cats and now they require periods of duty for the litter box. He won't do that either. Yesterday I was trying to care for the cats, look after the baby and make dinner. and at no point did he step in to help. We have a house cleaner who comes weekly, but if I didn't do maintenance tasks in between, he wouldn't do anything at all. I like a neat, non-chaotic home as much as possible, especially since the baby has arrived and brought chaos into our lives. On a general scale, he just doesn't seem to care. I'm exhausted. I love him, but I can't live like this. Am I just asking too much in terms of help around the house? Expectations are too high. How do I establish that I need help?
I think she's established she needs help,
Yes.
but it's just, is she going to get it?
I think
she's not.
I think she's asking, is he using weaponised incompetence or are her standards too high? I actually think that's the question.
I don't think her standards are too high
Me neither.
to ask somebody who lives in the same property as you
Creating the same...
to help out with some of the mess that they are creating.
Right. Me neither.
So, no, like, you're not asking for anything that's too much.
I don't know if he's using weaponised incompetence, because my understanding of weaponised incompetence is they do something badly, so you won't ask again. I think it's more to do with he's seeing how much he doesn't have to do and he'll get away with.
Yeah, because she will do it in the end anyway.
Especially when you've got a baby, you just have to keep on top of it. And it's different if, I personally think, this is just my opinion, that if he's out working all day, then yeah, more of the tasks will fall on you. That's just my opinion. Yes, being a mum is 24/7. I am a mum, I understand. But like when my boys were young and babies, my husband would go to work all day. I would do, or I'm not going to lie, all the housework and have dinner. But that's because I was feeding the kids as well as myself, and make sure that he'd have a portion. And then I'd take care of most of the other stuff because he had to be up early again, be at work for 5 a.m. So I was happy to take on, because I'd have a nap in the afternoon as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
He
mean,
never would have said no.
My parents were very much, Dad went to work and my mum would do all the housework.
Yeah.
Deal with the kids at home.
Yeah.
But more so when I was a baby, my dad would come home and like take me off my mum.
Yes.
And give my mum that hour
break. No, so Paul would as well with the boys. So he'd happily...
He would be what I would have called a hands-on dad.
Yes, so was Paul.
And it doesn't sound like this guy is doing that.
No, he's not even doing that. Because as well, like even when I'd go out and catch up with people, he'd take full responsibility of everything. And every time he'd be like, your job is so hard. And I'd be like, yeah, it is. Like everything's routine and chaotic. But you're right, this man isn't even doing the bare minimum of spending time and looking. I mean, look, changing the cat litter, it's not a big deal.
I hate that job, but yeah.
Oh yeah, nobody likes that job, babe, but you got to do what you got to do for your animals. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes,
yeah, no,
he is doing it on purpose.
That will end up in separation.
Yeah, because she just gets to the point where she just can't take it anymore.
That she's already questioning it.
Yeah, because she's doing so much. So, shall I read the top comment?
Yeah, go on.
Is this weaponised? Someone's quoted the title. He does nothing from the sounds of it. So no, your standards aren't too high. I'm not sure if I'd call it weaponised incompetence. That's where I came from. He sounds plain lazy and needs to get off his arse and help with the household. That's how I feel as well.
Yeah. Like, dues given that he goes to work and then comes home, but
Yes.
that isn't when your job finishes.
She doesn't mention whether she is out at work or whatever, but wouldn't it be nice that if he came home and she could have a nice hot bath? Oh, she does work. Did she work? Did I say that? Or that was a different story I read. Would it be a different story? But it would be nice if he came home and he's like, go and jump in the bath. I'll finish dinner off.
Or she's had dinner ready, they've eaten, you do bath, I'll do dishes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Just a bit of a break. It really means a lot to the primary
simplest
carer
things,
of the...
honestly, the simplest things, the littlest of help.
Because
whether
you're the mum or the dad, whoever the primary carer is, it really, of the children, it really is a non-stop role. It's really quite exhausting. Any parent will understand.
Any main carer will understand.
Yeah, that it's tiring, and you do need just those little things make all the difference and make you appreciate each other a lot more.
Yeah.
Okay, over to
He
you.
needs to pull his finger out.
Of his arsehole.
Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, bringing in the money isn't the end of your
It
your
really
job.
isn't. It really isn't.
Your 9 to 5 does not get you off.
It doesn't.
Any help out in home.
It doesn't, because even cooking a dinner would really be, because it's only like you come home, you do the dinner, done. Like, you don't have to do everything. That's not what she's saying. She's saying just the smallest.
Yeah.
Even if you took the cats off her hands, but she don't even do that. He doesn't even do that. Sorry. So yeah, I'd be pissed
She's
off as
literally
well.
juggling her life.
Literally.
Ugh.
I know. Go on.
Okay. So mine came under Am I the Arsehole for telling an employee to stop using weaponised incompetence. Everyone in this story is professional, makes above $100,000.
Sweet.
Yeah. Greg is in his 50s and we all work in tech. I'm the project manager of about 30 people. Greg has been having issues for the last 5 years because we changed programming methods. The company paid for us to take the certification. Greg, while we work from home, called IT every day over something. In returning to the office, our IT guy, Eric, came to me to say he's not helping Greg anymore. It's above his pay grade. This is the first time I've heard of this, and Greg explains he sets up the base project for Greg, and the previous IT guy did this also. He said Greg would scream at them for Greg not understanding how the program works. I met with most of my team and I clarified that IT is not your assistant. Does not treat them as such, and do not treat them as such. Greg goes on a 20-minute rant on how he misses the old software. I tell Greg to stop weaponizing his incompetence. From day forward, no one is to help Greg. He needs to either sink or swim. I know our team is strong as our weakest member. Greg filed a complaint about ageism in the workplace. I turned around and signed Eric up for company paid for certification. Greg already promoted his replacement. What? I feel like that got a bit confusing.
Yeah, just the last bit.
So basically, Greg didn't know what he was doing.
And got the on with everyone else.
And got someone else to do it. The other person was like, I'm done with this. Bear in mind, Greg was earning over 100,000.
Okay, so what I think should have happened... Yes, I do feel like Greg is blaming everyone else and not taking accountability for the fact that he don't understand. But what Greg should have done is said, I'm not getting it. Can you please send me on a course so I can run through this again?
Yeah, but why would Greg do that if the guy before, the new IT guy, was also doing that for him? So basically he was doing bare minimum.
So he's at fault, but I also he's at fault for the fact that he didn't say, I don't understand it. And just expecting everyone else to set it up for him. That is why the manager's pissed off with him. He clearly needs to go on the training again. Yeah, he is using weaponised incompetence because he's blaming everyone else for his own lack of understanding. Well, what's top comment?
Ooh. So Happy Banana says Supreme Court just arse. Okay. Says, I'll give you an ESH. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
But this is appalling management. 1, in your post, you write that Greg has had issues for the last 5 years. You don't say where you've addressed this. Why didn't you act when you heard Greg had been screaming at people? This is something you needed to follow up on, and not in a group meeting. You allowed a 20-minute rant to take place. What a waste of time. Calling Greg incompetent in a group setting was inappropriate. Sink or swim is not how a team works, irrespective of Greg being an AH. This is shitty. Greg has now told you he's struggling. What refresher training have you arranged?
Thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying. He is at fault for he's not speaking up and saying, being a nice person, saying, listen, I don't get it. I know that's frustrating for you. You're going to have to send me on this course a couple more times because it's not sinking in. But instead, the manager...
This is proper backfired on him.
Go on.
So someone then went, he clearly is an arsehole, but you're I was going to say appalling, but the guy above me said that already. Astonishingly bad boss.
Right.
Imagine what the folks at anti-work will make of this, which is a Reddit link. And then someone else then goes, right, when I was reading the post, I couldn't exactly say whether it was weaponized incompetence or, just incompetence. Greg is still an a-hole for yelling, but Opie doesn't sound like a good boss at all.
No, he's not taking control of the situation to say, listen, it's unacceptable that you speak to my employees like this. What you should have done is come to me and tell me that you don't understand it. And then I could have then sent you, like in a private setting, on the course again, however many times you needed, because you're a great employee, you've been here for however long, and dealt with it that way. But he didn't.
No, he didn't.
So that's why I'm like, this bloke is a wanker, don't get me wrong, but this boss is fucking...
it was a bit cruel.
It's mean. It's
Really cruel.
It's like when you're at school and you're just not grasping it. Shit happens. You don't have to grasp everything straight away, but to be like... Greg's an arsehole as well. Let's not mistake that he was screaming at these poor IT guys, who again should have spoken up before. Everyone's like, 5 years later.
Yeah, 5 years later.
I'm not doing it. Yeah. Oh, today I've decided that's enough. 2 weeks later I would have decided that's enough. Right, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Husband is the definition of weaponized incompetent. Then it's got like a little bracket and it's rant rave. Okay. Absolutely at my wit's end. Our son ended up getting a cold and then gave it to me, but it was way worse for me. Felt like flu, but to the point where I could hardly get out of bed without feeling like I was going to die. I have not been sick in the last 3 years. Nevertheless, my husband worked all day, so I took care of our toddler the best that I could. I ended up calling into work that evening and text my husband, please be ready to take care of me all night. He said, of course, my baby. Well, I then had to listen to him complain the entire night about how he had so much to do, about the garbage being full, the dishes, having to feed the cat dog. He was complaining about having to make our son dinner by himself and he couldn't, so I had to come downstairs and watch our son while he did it. He stomped around when I asked him to bring me medicine or fill my water or if I needed more tissues, to the point where I ended up getting up and making myself a... Right, now, when I read this last night, it says tub, T-U-B. Is that tub?
Tub.
Okay, making myself a tub. What the fuck is a tub? I thought she meant tea, right? And then I carried on reading. And then by the time that was done, I had some energy to give my son a tub. Okay, so we say, yeah, me neither. And put him down to bed. I found my husband on his computer completing some paperwork for a school he had applied for. He was up there for 2 hours. The house was a mess. Toys everywhere, dishes overflowing, hadn't been vacuumed, dirty clothes everywhere, garbage needed to be taken out, animals needed to be fed. I just ended up doing it all myself, despite being fatigued, short of breath and faint. He ended up coming downstairs hours later and said, "Oh, wow, you didn't have to do that," and then sat on the couch to put on a show. I literally cannot believe I have found myself with a husband who does not care, does not try anymore, and is more concerned about himself. Has anybody had a husband like this that has changed, or is it a good kick out of the house that it's going to have to do? Go on.
Fuck. Kicking him out of the house is a little extreme.
Oh, it depends how fucking fed up you are, babe.
I mean, you've got to be seriously fed up to kick him out.
I mean, she
But
was ill.
It's extreme. I mean, I just think a majority of men, like a really high percentage of men are like this.
And it's all our fault.
Of course it's our fault. You know, we had the kids.
I just think it's so...
We set the bar too high.
I actually think it's a societal thing, babe, where men are suspected to bring in a higher income, look after the family, and women are expected to look after the home more, right? Even though we know she works, but now that's actually not the case very much nowadays. Now you've got the man working, the woman working just as hard, and for some reason most of the chores
are still
put on the woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's not all relationships, let's be fair, but I have noticed that a lot of women are like, hold on a minute, because I also work part-time, I also look after the kids, I also do the house. When do I get a fucking break? And they're not wrong.
No, they're not.
You know, that's what I mean. That's what I said to you. Like, yes, Paul did come home and he was a great dad and all that, but I did do it all because he was working. He was the one earning the living. It was...
I'm with you. Like, that is how...
I was quite happy with that. But if I was ill...
No, it was always...
Okay, I'm sorry about that. But in my house, if I was ill, like when I was pregnant with Harry, as you know, I was sick with Alfie and I was sick with Harry. And one day I had to ask him to come home from work. That is how sick I was. So he came home, took over, and obviously I just carried on puking till about 8 in the evening. And what the funniest part was, he was so tired, he'd put Alfie to bed, and then he had like fallen asleep in Alfie's room. And then about 8 o'clock, my migraine had cleared. I'd stopped being sick and I managed my first cup of tea and I was all right then. I was like, get up, you twat. You've only done like 2 hours.
Knackered yourself out.
But, you know, at least I had that. I feel like, what was when you were ill? Nothing.
I didn't get ill.
Ever? You haven't been ill ever, or you just, it didn't matter? It didn't matter?
No.
My God. Fucking hell. Man, that's a bit grim, innit? So yeah, I get where she's coming from, and especially like, I feel like times like that is when men can really do a little bit, and then it would go such a long way mentally.
Yeah.
And women. Yeah.
I mean, it is sort of, the bare minimum is expected.
I think so.
And it should be, I mean, everyone should be doing bare minimum. But
shall I do our top comment?
Go on.
Right. Always make sure the consequences of weaponised incontinence come down on the person using it. He spent 2 hours doing paperwork. Oops. Guess he gets to do homework when he comes back instead of watching a show. When my partner is in charge of the house, I am out. Do not ask me for anything unless someone is in danger or there's immediate consequence you can't fix. You're going to burn out at this rate, and you're not happy. You're not helping him or your son either if he's incredibly incapable of taking care of things for one evening. I feel like that's the complete and utter opposite extreme. So what does that mean? Her husband would be like in a detention.
I didn't quite get the paperwork bit.
So I'm
but
assuming,
I understood. She
yeah.
was saying, when I'm out, that's it. I'm out. When I'm not in that room and he's in charge of the house and the kids, don't talk to me unless someone's in danger. Like, don't ask me for nothing.
So I think if it was in her house and her husband didn't take over, he would be in like punishment. Well, you can't watch the show because now that's when you do your paperwork. A bit confusing, bit strict for me. And then someone said, but that you do realise there's no way to enforce this. He's an adult. That's what I mean. That's why I was like, what?
Yeah,
He's not a child. You can put in time out, or a teenager you can take away the car keys. Trying to tell an adult man who's already weaponised, he's in compliance, that he doesn't get to watch a show instead must do chores. This person, that's
you
where
can watch
I'm
a
like,
show once you clean the house.
you can't live like that either. So that's one extreme to the
I
other
don't even
extreme.
think I couldn't even see him complying with that. Oh, okay then.
You cannot talk to an
I
adult.
don't think so. Because then it's an argument. And
Yeah.
is that an argument worth having? I don't know if it is. It
It's
could be like, mate,
ridiculous.
could you just help me out with that? Like, you can ask.
It's just, honestly, I
Oh.
feel like sitting down and having a conversation at this point and say, listen, I was really fucking ill and you didn't even do what I needed you to do. Not sitting down and having a conversation, because if you're raising it with that person and they still ain't getting it, you are doing everything you can.
Mm-hmm.
And if they still ain't getting it, then it stops being your problem.
It's time to leave.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you can kick him out.
Fucking You have got a detention when you get home from work. Can you imagine that house? That's one extreme to the other, mate. Like, because I'm telling you now, if Paul was like, do this or you're not allowed to do that, I'd be like, who the fuck are you talking to, mate? Can you imagine? Someone saying to you, you're not allowed to watch your show.
Oh yeah, good.
Oh my God.
Moving on.
Yeah, we'll save that for a later podcast.
Right, am I the arsehole for not telling my husband about the gift ahead of time?
Okay.
Okay, my 36 female and my husband, 41 male, have been married for almost 10 years now. He said he is not good at buying gifts, even though I just think he is lazy about it. Some form of weaponised incompetence. And so I do most of the gift buying. This year I was sent by work to South Africa and
Sorry.
and I decided to buy Christmas gifts there. I had mentioned that one of our daughters wanted a bike, but he said no, so I moved on. But to him, I was going to buy gifts in South Africa anyway.
I can't help it. Yeah.
Typically, he likes me to call and inform him when I'm buying the gifts, but this year I decided not to. After all, I am the one buying the gifts with my money and making the decision. He just wants to keep in the loop.
Fair play.
I get back home, wrap the gifts and send them to my parents since we were travelling together out of town for Christmas. I bought and wrapped his as well. Christmas morning arrives and there is no gift under the tree for me. My husband says I acted in bad faith and didn't tell him that I was bringing the gifts or I had bought gifts, so he didn't think to buy me a gift. He says I was acting like I didn't want to involve him, so he didn't have time to plan. I said it's Christmas, so obviously there is going to be gifts. He says not going with the usual way was underhanded and threw him off, and that's why I have no gift. I was thrown off by this but stood my ground, but now I'm a bit unsure. Am I the arsehole?
Abso-fucking-lutely not. What a cunt. What a
load
of old shit.
What a liberty.
The thing is, what a fucking piece of shit, mate. Like, he knows it's Christmas. It's like her birthday. I didn't get you a present because I didn't know what everyone else was getting you. What a piece of shit. He knew she was getting the present. I'm getting them from Civica. And it still weren't good enough. And
because
he's like,
she didn't tell him what she had bought.
but what?
So he could go,
but her
yeah,
buying,
I'm really glad you like that.
her
I'll
buying,
pick that.
right, but her buying for other people still has nothing to do. Do you know, it reminded me, as you were reading, I'm really sorry, it's my legs, people, yeah, I'm fucking old. I'm going to have to wear 2 knee straps on the fucking 12-hour thing.
Doubled up.
They're just going to, like, give way.
You'll be running like that, again.
I'll be
Can't
running,
bend your knees.
I'll be running like those people. Yes, anyway, I saw a TikTok this morning, and this man, it's an old TikTok, it's a Christmas one, but he's like, stocking for Jeremy, stocking for Thomas, stocking for me, stocking for the dog, right? Fred, we'll just call him Fred. What's in this? Empty fucking stocking. And she went, that's my stocking. And he goes, what? He goes, why haven't you got any presents? Ha ha ha. And she went, because Santa forgot about me. And you know, a lot of fucking women, it's the same all across the fucking world. Like, come Christmas Day, there's fuck all or one thing. And it's like, hold on a minute. I have spent since October, I feel like I'm talking about myself, I might be a little bit, but I have spent, not that I want anything, it's not the fucking point. A pound ball is like so meaningful to me. I spent 6 October fucking organising what would they want, blah blah, and every fucking body,
making sure everyone gets what they want, what they need.
Yeah, and even if it's
make sure
silly
they've
shit,
had like a great Christmas.
yeah.
And feel like they've been thought about.
I mean, this year I'm particularly skint, so, you know, obviously it's always about the kids for me, but, you know, I've still got him silly shit, and he will get for me, but my point, like, you know, it's not a big deal, but I see these videos and I see these women, it's generally, sometimes it's men, but it's normally women, and these men are just not making
like
sure,
pulling their finger out and making sure that actually the woman in their life that holds their fucking home together is actually being appreciated, and feeling appreciated.
Do you know what else I like as well?
And seen.
That's what I'm saying. When he gets me, because obviously it's him, it's not so much now the kids are older, they now will start buying for themselves, but he gets me, like, I love Ferrero Rochers, and he'll get me Ferrero Rochers from them, and I do presents from them. Do you know what I mean? And that really is how everybody, even, like I say, the things I love most are like a pound ball and that sort of shit. They're like, what do you want? That's what I want. Or some fluffy pyjamas. Couldn't be happier. It's not about what you're getting, it's about making the effort. And she was just sitting there, and I was just like, and it was like a big joke to him. And she's like, well, Santa didn't come for me. And I thought, wow, man, your kids are like watching that. Yeah. Were you bad, Mum?
Well, I've had that with mine. My kids were like, is it because you're on the naughty list?
No.
I said, yeah. Because that one time, it's a real long story, but cut short, their older cousins decided to tell my kids when they were very young that it wasn't real. And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Of course Father Christmas is real.
It is real.
So I ended up doing something to make sure that I got an image of Father Christmas. I just think I'm trying to be careful here.
Yeah.
And obviously you're not allowed to see Father Christmas because you're supposed to be asleep, right?
And you're a child.
I got that image of Father Christmas in our home, putting Christmas presents under our tree. And because I did that, I then got put on the naughty list because you're not supposed to see Father Christmas when he's in your
that
home,
makes sense. Yeah.
So that year, I was on the naughty list. So my kids were like, can't do that again. So the next year, I was still on the naughty list.
Okay.
And they were like, why are you still on the naughty list? Did you go and see Father Christmas? And I absolutely did not. And that...
It's actually quite sad.
It was sad. But my parents always have done, like,
of course,
from the kids to me.
Yeah.
So I've never not had gifts.
Yeah.
But not from Father Christmas.
I've never not had gifts, and I always get something. I really do. I'm like, not saying I don't, from my husband and the kids, but it's like, I don't need big gestures. I feel like that's my point. It's the silly little shit that they like, what do you want? I'm like, pound ball.
They've seen me. They acknowledge.
Yeah.
I am that other person in this home.
It's just, I think every couple to acknowledge what it means to make Christmas come alive for our children.
Yeah.
And I feel like the acknowledgement of one partner taking care of everything, and then you don't stop and think to yourself, oh my God, my partner's done all this, so our Christmas is magical. I'm going to take this time to make sure their Christmas is magical. And that's what I'm saying. It can all come from the pound shop. It's the thought and the gesture that makes it Christmas.
Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, don't think I never got gifts, because I did.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But
yeah, I feel like we're both a little bit in the
they
same
were,
place there. It's not like what Christmas is about. Does that make sense?
yeah, I mean, yeah.
I get beautiful stuff every year. I'm not pretending that I
mean,
don't.
there was one Christmas where I literally just got money in a card from.
Yeah, that
and I'm
person,
like,
yeah. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. I know, because it sounds
And
like
that's
we're
not me being-
ungrateful,
yeah,
but
that's
it's
not
not.
being ungrateful.
It's not. It's what. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It's
I've-
like being
I've done-
seen. It's
It
actually
is being seen.
and listened to about you've
And
personally
I know
asked
that
me.
you like this thing, and it may only be
Yeah.
this big, but I went and got you one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank
then,
you
because we were
for
talking, so
that.
on my Christmas tree, I don't know if you want to take a photo and show them after, like you can just add it on. I'm very proud of my Christmas tree, because a lot of my baubles are when we first moved in together, and then obviously throughout the years we progressed. And every year we've got, so I made, which Emily thinks is gross, I'm going to say you said gross. Yeah, so we had, me, Alfie and Harry had COVID, and I kept our COVID things, wrote on the back the date and the year that we got COVID, and now they are Christmas decorations with our names and the dates on the back. And the only one that didn't have COVID was Paul, but I couldn't leave him out, so his COVID is negative, and that's on the tree. And I said to her, is it gross because we might get COVID from it? But they've been there a few years. Anyway, last year, so if I see an Alfie and a Harry ornament, of course I buy the ornaments. Well, I come home, and as I told you 100 times, guys, like I'm dyslexic, so I've come home, I've put the new Alfie and Harry, every year I buy a silly decoration. I ask the boys to get me whatever, it could be 50p, I don't care. Anyway, so I put it on, Harry comes in the lounge and he's like, that says Henry.
It does.
It says Henry.
It does.
So now, this year, getting it out gives...
It's a little bit special, isn't it?
It's special. And that's what I'm saying. Like, those stupid things and those memories that I pull out really early in November and it goes down Boxing Day. But for that time that I pull it out, and then the little grin I have when I put it away, and then add... So next year, I've always got the silly crap. I mean, I brought Jason this year.
Jason?
The killer.
Yeah.
With his chainsaw, and he's wrapped in Christmas lights. So he's on my tree this year. So that is
it. I've got gremlins, but I haven't
saw
put them.
him.
I haven't put them on my tree this year.
Well, what did I see that was cute? Was it a dinosaur?
Yeah, I've got dinosaurs on
Yeah,
there.
yeah, they were cute. But yeah,
But I have got a full set
I
of
remember the gremlins. Yeah.
But because they're heavy, and then I got really anxious that like I was going to put them on the tree and the girls were going to touch them and like they get broken.
You know that
Because I had visions of us swinging around the
I've
tree
got
for
really
some
heavy
reason.
ornaments. Don't you bend the top over on the heavy
Yeah,
ones?
but I got really anxious.
Yeah.
Because I really love these
I've
gremlins.
I've got glass ones and all sorts.
Yeah, it makes me worry.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it makes me
update.
worry. But I'm so sorry.
Update, but she says update, but not really. Thank you for all your clarification. I'm working on leaving, but it's understandably not the easiest thing in in any situation. Grateful for all the perspective. Sometimes someone gets in your head and you think you are wrong when you are not. Really needed the clarification. Merry Christmas to you all.
There you go.
Do you want me to put that top one?
You're going to have to do the top comment,
top
even though we
comment
spent
is-
40 minutes going, it's not about the present, it's about the gift.
It's about the thought.
It's the gift.
The first year my ex-boyfriend and I were together, my birthday came around with no acknowledgement from him. No card, no cake, no gift, no nothing. At the end of the day, I asked him if he knew it was my birthday. He said he knew but didn't like to make a fuss over such things. Okay, I didn't make a stink. His birthday was 5 months later, and when the day arrived, I could see his excitement, but I went about the day business as usual. No card, no cake, no gift, no nothing. Especially acknowledgement. At the end of the day, he asked if I knew it was his birthday. I said yes, I knew, but he doesn't like to make a fuss over such things, remember? He knew he had fucked up, so he had to live with the disappointment. Well, that was just an extra little story on there. But it's true, isn't it?
Yeah. He sounds like another fucking prick.
This pleased me almost as much as him no longer being your boyfriend.
It pleased me as well.
His name was Richard. My grandma asked if he was a dick, meaning his nickname. I said, yes, Gram, he's a dick, but we call him Richard.
Why does Richard and Dick? How is that even?
Dick?
I don't get it.
A shorter version. I don't know either.
But that's right. Growing
Yeah,
up, everyone was like, "This is Richard," but we call him Dick.
Like,
I was like,
please
"Do
don't.
we? Do we though?"
Oh, he's gone right off. Look, my son-in-law's name is Richard, but I call him Dick. Both he and my daughter think it's hilarious, but my now ex-wife hates it. So we all know, if we want to get her mad, we will start calling him Dick
Or Dickie.
Dickie. So I suppose my ex is the real Dick. By the way, the original poster, NTA, guys, like that you are all King Richards. Okay, anyway.
Okay, moving. I feel like I've said everything I need to say about that. It really fucking pisses me off.
Yeah.
Okay. Spouse who deal with weaponized incompetence. Why are you staying, or how was it after you left? I've been lurking here reading about marriages destroyed by one partner's weaponized incompetence. Some stories end with both spouses better off after the divorce, others not so much. Mostly it's the effort of money needed to raise small children that makes the divorce a bad option. So like they've already left. Needless to say, I'm in a pre-divorce situation and doing my research on whether or not I should go ahead with it. My spouse has always been rather on the incompetent side, forcing me to be the real adult in the relationship and take care of the hard stuff that needs to be done. That's always bothered me, but not enough to act on it until we had kids. Since the birth, which has also taken a large toll on my physical and emotional health. I am the mum. Hi. My husband's once harmless incompetent has suddenly become a huge problem. He's not worse than he was. It's just his inability to solve problems and refusal to get his act together now has far larger consequences than, say, a forgotten bill left unpaid. I think I've done my part in telling him exactly what bothers me, why I'm unhappy, and what I need him to do better at. I asked him to go to therapy as well if he was feeling burnt out. I started out as calm and supportive, and I worked on my issues. I got treatment for my mental health problems. I made lists and dotted the I's and crossed off the T's. And he has done absolutely jack shit to improve. Day in and day out, I parent him as much as or more than I parent my 2-year-old and 6-month-old. This is destroying any positive feelings I may have once had for him, leaving me with nothing but bitterness and resentment. I don't want to be his wife anymore, plain and simple, but I do realise that divorce would bring a whole lot of logistic issues, would make my life at least as complicated as it is now. So do I stay in an unhappy marriage with a man I despise, or do I leave and face single parenting of a baby and a toddler?
Leave. You're already parenting on your own.
So like she's already left.
What's the point in staying and creating such a toxic environment in front of your kids, for your kids? Leave.
I think
You're already doing it by yourself from what you're saying.
it's not even. I mean, she's written the story, babe, but I feel like mentally she already has left.
Yeah.
She despises
She's
him.
saying words like despise, yeah.
I mean, that is a real big fucking word. What else do you think?
I mean,
She's told him,
yeah, I feel like she's done what she can do.
and he's not doing anything.
And if he genuinely isn't doing anything to make life easier for himself, for them as a couple, for them as a family,
Yeah,
then he said what he needs to say as well.
yeah.
That's it. They're possibly both done.
So, top comment. The first time he brought up divorce was when I started getting serious about wanting of a more equal partnership. When it came to household chores, I should have got out then, but I tried for almost a year to make it work. In the end, I was still doing the majority of the housework and being gaslit into thinking that it was okay because he was new to this and trying so hard. And then someone said to that person's top comment, there's always trying hard but fail. Well, that's strange. Your man child, I love that saying, I say that a lot. You don't fail at hobbies or your career or poor decisions, but helping your spouse out, trying but failing. That's a really good point, actually.
Yes.
If you really want to do something, then you'll do it, and you'll do it to the best of your abilities. If that means you can see, I mean, he must notice. I bet they're not having sex or anything because she despises him. I want to see if she's written back. Don't think she has.
I mean, he might not even have noticed. He might be just so up in his own little world of...
It's all about me.
Of, yeah, meism.
I don't really understand, like, if your wife is like, hun, this is really becoming a problem for me, and
Yeah.
you are not...
And you're not taking it serious.
Yeah, and then, when there's a divorce, he's going to be like, what happened?
You broke our family up.
Yeah. This was over a year ago, and she has not done any other...
No, because she's going through divorce. She ain't
Yeah,
got time
she's
to
busy.
fucking do this.
She's busy, yeah. So you need to take us home, babes.
I don't know if this is the one then.
I told you I only had 3.
I don't know if this
We
is the
normally
one.
do 6.
So, I picked this one
Okay, well...
because it's under men's rights.
Okay, fair play.
Okay, so this is coming from a slightly different perspective.
Yeah.
It's very short.
Yeah.
It's been like little, the little thingies. What are they called? This little thing.
Yeah,
Under
yeah.
feminism.
Okay.
Okay. And other men have responded.
Good.
So I just felt like this was just that
It is, you're
other
right.
side.
Because normally the whole thread is basically women.
Proper just venting.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
my man's so useless. Mine's more useless than your
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like,
This
no,
one
no.
is winning though. She's actually in divorce.
Yeah, she's there.
She's on the divorce
I'm
Reddit.
over it.
Yeah.
So, the absurd idea of weaponised incompetence.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. I am a bumbling idiot. I forget my wallet or my glasses or to punch in, which is obviously logging into work.
Yeah.
Or
America.
I left my Coke sitting on top of the car. I might forget my head if it wasn't attached. Yeah, if I forget something for a woman, I get death stares like I did it on purpose. I cannot tell you how absurdly infuriating this is. This notion of weaponizing incompetence is just another way feminists have manufactured to hate men. What do you think of that?
I think he has a very good point in the sense that when we're reading something, that's what I said, not everything is weaponized incompetence. The last story, she has said to him, this is the problem. I need your help. The woman who was sick, she did not sit down and say to him, I'm not feeling well, get your ass in gear because I need you to take over.
But equally, should she have to go,
Yes.
husband, I'm really sick, just in case you can't see it.
That's his point. Some people just don't pick it up, babe, and it's, what the fuck? And it was my hair. It's on
Now
you.
it's on me.
Yeah, here, do you want some more?
No, I don't.
That's rude. It's lovely. Yeah,
Is that your
I
hair?
feel like... What, my
Is
hair
that
is
your
lovely.
hair?
Where is it?
Is that your hair? Is that your hair?
Have you got a job?
Is that
Yeah,
your
it's
hair?
me. Yeah,
Sorry.
I feel like he's right. Not everything is weaponised incompetence. Some people are just like that, babe. Clumsy, forgetful, definitely one of them. I put things in safe places and then I can't fucking find it.
Because
And
they're
Paul's
safe.
like, is it in one of your safe places? And I'm just like,
I don't
yeah,
know,
but I
really.
don't know where it is. But I don't, you know, and then I forget things. That's why I try
Yeah,
and
but
write
you're not
everything
forgetting
down.
something so you don't have to do it.
No, I'm not. But sometimes it
Oh, is it Christmas? I never noticed. I didn't realise it was Christmas to
that
buy you a
is
Christmas
weaponised.
present.
That is no, actually, that isn't even weapon. That is just he was being a
That was
fucking arsehole.
Pure
Spite.
spitefulness.
Yes, that was spitefulness. The woman that was ill, he just. Okay, he might be using weaponised incompetence, but until she sits down and says, this is the shit that's bothering me, I was really ill, you should have fucking taken over instead of coming down and gone, I could have done that. That would really piss me off.
babe.
I would have done that.
Oh, you did everything.
I'm a Christ. Like, that would have
While he
pissed
was
me.
upstairs having
Too
a
late
wank.
now, love. Solate.co.uk. Like, I get it. But, so that's
Right.
why I can understand.
I've got a few more ready.
Okay, go.
So, top comment is, early in my marriage, my wife complained about how I did the dishes. They were still perfectly clean, so I didn't understand why it mattered that I did them a bit different than her. After several complaints, I simply stopped washing dishes for several months. She didn't complain after that, and even thanked me once in a while for doing the load. Petty, maybe, if there's a better way to nip nagging in the bud. I've yet to find it.
Do you know?
So men are calling it nagging.
Paul hates
And
the way I
women-
wash up.
Listen, I'm not being funny. I've had people wash up my stuff in my flat, and when they've
But I saw Sarah washing up. I'm
I've
going to say
then
Sarah.
washed up again.
Right. So Paul says I'm shit at washing up, but Paul doesn't wash up. So I'm like, sounds like a you problem to me. And before anyone starts,
So,
the man can't help it. Yeah?
Women are weaponised incompetence, and men are nagging.
I want to know if
I
there's any
hate-
more.
So off of that one, that's what I've done with my girlfriend. I can't wash my own clothes and wash hers, and they come out perfectly clean and hang out to dry just fine. But it isn't the right way, her way.
Right.
And
Fair
she
play.
hates it and thinks it's wrong and yada yada, and will make a mountain out of a molehill. So I told her it can just be one of her jobs, and I'll stick to doing the other stuff. If she doesn't like that, she'll have to accept I want to do it my way and stop nagging me. Exactly the same as you. She's stopped complaining and thanks me when I help her on occasion. For me with that,
Yeah.
I feel
It's punishment.
like actually when they are trying
Yeah.
to help, like the whole you're not doing it right, you're not doing it my way.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a her problem.
Yes.
I don't think that's you're incompetent.
No.
I think that's this is how I've done it,
Yeah.
but this is how I do it.
Yeah.
I prefer it my way. Okay, then here you do that
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Like that's not a
Oh
problem.
no. So for me, when I'm
So
told
to call it the yada yada nagging, I think that is actually the guy's being a bit of an arsehole. But
So-
she's trying to be like, I can't cope with that.
So for me, like, this is just another example. It would be like, so I can't say the word lengths.
Yeah.
The length of it, length. And then I'm corrected all the time. And I'm like, that's how I say it. That's how you say it. Why do you make everything such a big deal? Do you know what I mean? Or if I'm not washing up the way it's meant to be done. I'm not you. Like,
Yes.
I'm not a carbon copy. I'm a different person. If you don't like it, that's a fucking you problem.
And there's definitely a difference between doing it shitty so
Yes.
you don't have to do it again.
Of course.
And just been doing it to the best of your ability, but the other partner is like, oh, I wish you would do it like this.
Yeah, tough shit. Do you know what I mean?
So that sounds like you now need to take over that job, because I can't argue with you
Exactly.
over something that you feel you could do a better
I
job
can't
on.
bear people that constantly tell them how they would do it or what they're doing wrong. It pisses me off because they're trying.
There's another man, you ready?
Go on.
The thing I like about my wife is that she grew up in a house where those things didn't get done.
Right.
They didn't clean things properly, didn't do laundry often, and so on. As a result, she doesn't have it in her mind that there is a right way, and she's good with however I want to do it. The only downside is I have to remind her that it needs to be done sometimes, and actively enlist her help, but that's not so bad.
Yeah. So she's a bit more of a slob then.
She's just like, oh yeah, I forgot to wash.
Yeah, who cares?
I'll do it tomorrow.
I'm still alive.
But did you die?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
I
lots of guys
do.
enjoy
I
it.
understand, because some of the stories we read, babe, they were like, it's weapon, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is it though? I don't feel like it is. I feel like it is just, it's a both of you problem, and you're not trying to solve it. So why are you here? Try and solve it with your husband first. Like that woman who is like, I've been counselling, I've done this, I've told him what's bothering me, blah blah blah, and he's still not doing it, has led her to the point where she despises him.
Yeah.
And he's done that because she has said gently, this is what's pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know. Right. I feel like that's it.
Wanted to just
Yeah, no, I liked that
second,
one.
the
Oh,
opposite
yeah, 'cause
perspective.
To be fair, babe, a lot of our podcasts are
I
like,
hate being called naggy.
I don't think you're naggy.
I don't think I'm naggy either,
Yeah.
but I got called naggy.
I bet you
and
did.
I'm like, I feel like I'm caring,
Yeah.
and that's what I'm doing. I'm not nagging. I'm
I
actually
don't
giving
feel
a fuck
like
right
I'm a
now.
nagger.
But when I stop nagging, things ain't gonna get done. Just so you know.
I feel like, I'm not really a nagger, but I feel like
I don't think I nagged.
that I'm more...
I did everything, so I don't know what I would be nagging about.
I'm more like...
Shush.
I get to the point where I'm pissed off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'll say, but it takes a very, very long time and
Yes.
a lot to... I tell you, there you go. So what have I been saying? So chewing gum
What have I
being put on the side.
No.
On a tea cozy thing.
No.
That fucking pisses the
That would
shit
wind
out
me
of
up.
me. So I've said that. And feeding the cats, leaving the empty things stood up on the side. Put it in the fucking bin.
So you've seen it at my flat where you've come in and I go, look at that, and my two children have had like a can
Yeah.
of something, or they've opened a sweet or whatever, and they put it on top of the bin.
Yeah.
On top of the bin.
Yeah.
Instead of just putting their foot on the pedal and putting it in the bin, they put it on top of the bin. And I'm like,
I say, I go, I've asked you 100 times to not leave them on the side. The bin is right fucking
Really?
there.
I
What
mean,
is that about?
you know where the bin is?
Yeah.
Why can't you open it?
You walk past it, my God, like put it in the fucking bin. Or, because sometimes you go in there, one's fallen over and the rest of the gravy inside is like spilled all over, and I'm just like, put it in the bin, like a crazy
the bin
person.
Of mine is my probably pet hate.
Bugbear, yeah.
I can't.
No, mine
I'm like,
is,
guys.
yeah, mine is the cat foods on the side. I don't understand it. I just can't understand it. Feed, bin.
Yeah.
But how is that complicated?
I honestly, I don't know.
I feel like that's enough. Right. Otherwise we'll find something else. And let me tell you.
Right. No nagging.
Like,
And
follow,
come on,
subscribe.
guys. Let's not be incompetent.
I feel
We're
like a
all
lot of them
capable.
weren't incompetent.
We're all capable.
Yeah, well, I don't know about
Well,
that.
we are all capable. We just choose not to.
Oh my
sometimes.
God.
We're
Oh my
gonna go.
Christ. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. What do you think of that? I think. What don't you think of that? I think that girl has got everything